Following last week's entry ban on foreigners, you may be feeling angry, frustrated, depressed, all with proper reason.
Even the WHO, or should I say the World Health Organization, have criticised Japan's entry ban for being ineffective and actually quite discriminatory. Now, if you've also been waiting for the past year, then you've probably tried reading a lot of Stoic philosophy books in order to survive. I particularly liked Discourses by Epictetus. However, there is one part that I do disagree with in Stoic philosophy based on our situation, and that's the idea that anger is not productive, that we should let go of things that are just not in our control and be indifferent to them. Personally, I think anger and frustration in times when your mental health is struggling can be good things in a way, because the alternative is numbness, not feeling anything, sort of caught in this purgatory between living and just giving up. As we've seen this year, staying silent won't really do anything to fix our situation. And there are parts in which we do have the power to make an impact. I mean, where would we be if Davide Rossi never raised his voice about our situation? There are productive ways to channel your anger and frustration for the good. We've already seen international embassies urge the South Korean government to make changes which they then later implemented. So what can we do? Well, first of all, we have got this petition which has just been passed through the European Parliament. This is quite big. It was created by a friend of mine. It took 6 months to get through, but in the first week since its approval, we've already got over 1,000 signatures. Now, all you need to do to support this petition is go onto the European Parliament website. The link is in the description. Create an account quickly and literally just press the support this petition button. That is all you need to do. You don't need to be in the European Union to be able to voice your support. You just have to create an account. 2 small steps for 1 big difference. Secondly, the comment section on the next message to international students is now open, so you can voice your concerns, tell your story, and there's a good chance that someone from Next will be able to see it. Additionally, we haven't had much luck so far, but write into your embassies, write into diplomats in Japan, just telling them about your situation. It is worth a go. Anything that you can do to get the message out there. Already we've got lots of international media attention, so we're moving in the right direction. The thing is, it's not just young people missing out on a dream. When you word it like that, it just makes people go, well, tough. The fact is, this is people's careers and livelihoods, so we need to take it seriously. But I do urge you, as low as you may be feeling right now, please do keep all your communication with Japanese officials or anywhere on the internet, please keep it professional and dignified. At the end of the day, we are all as individuals ambassadors for international people working, studying, living in Japan. So we want to create a good impression, because doing otherwise is just counterproductive to our situation. I really do think anger and frustration should be channeled towards the good rather than towards hate and resentment, no matter how easy it is to take the latter path. Because recently, over the past week, reflecting, I feel like it's very easy, and there's a worrying possibility that a lot of international people in our situation will start to grow resentful and start to hate Japan and its people, all because of the measures taken by its government. There is a big worry that people who initially approached Japan from a place of love are now going to turn their back on it from a place of hatred. And that's just sad at the end of the day, isn't it? The thing is, let's be honest, we don't want to live our lives just being resentful, because that's just going to lead us down a path of bitterness, hatred. I mean, if we're not careful, then it sometimes paves the way for racist beliefs, which we don't want. Let's think though, who is this situation unfair on? I mean, us obviously, but let's think about the millions of good-natured, normal Japanese people living their normal lives in Japan right now, who would really sympathise with our situation, who really would support us if they knew anything about it. We can't judge a country's people based on the actions of their government, because we can't assume that everyone's beliefs are always aligned, that we can't generalise. That always leads to stereotypes and prejudice against an entire nation. I mean, as a British person, I try to distance myself from things such as Brexit, because it's not really nice having those assumptions against you. That said, you may have seen this poll in the news recently. 89% of Japanese people approved the entry ban on foreigners. And also, at the same time, Prime Minister Kishida's approval rating went up by 6% following the announcement of the ban. Pretty depressing statistics, but one thing I would say is just don't think this is an accurate representation of Japanese people at all. For starters, the survey was carried out by the Yomiuri Shimbun, which is quite a traditional and right-leaning newspaper, and so the readers of that newspaper are likely going to be the older generations. The people who are, well, more likely to be right-wing, shall we say, hold right-wing political views. Now, usually when you put old people and right-wing politics together, tolerance towards foreigners isn't usually brilliant. So you can imagine how the results are going to be if you look for a questionnaire from that source. And then, as Davide said, we want to see the context from which those answers were taken. Do the people interviewed know that Japanese people are entering the country from the same countries where new foreign entries are banned, and that the alternative is foreigners entering with a negative PCR and 2 weeks quarantine? If you were to take a more representative sample, i.e. include people, younger people maybe, from maybe universities, that sort of area, and with the correct context, as I've just said, then you would probably get a very different response. Every country has got its own right-wing fanatics. Japan is no different. And to be honest, if you were to do the same kind of questionnaire in the UK, from a newspaper such as the Daily Mail, quite right-wing, you'd probably get very similar statistics. Japan's just another example of this. It does make for a shocking headline, hence why it circulated so much and very quickly found its way into Western media outlets. As far as I'm aware, I think the Japanese just think that the measures are there to protect them, protect the citizens while the new variant's going around. I don't think they know any more than that. They don't know the specifics of why our situation is as it is. The only reason we know so much about the entry ban and its obvious problems is because we've got a very large network of people constantly sharing news and reactions. Meanwhile, Japanese people, normal Japanese people, well, they've got lives, which I really do envy them for. I don't want to be sat on Twitter all day looking up entry restriction information. It's not very fun, but yeah, here we are, you know. But remember this, right? As our situation gets picked up more and more by international media outlets and outlets in Japan, we're going to see more support from Japanese people, young and old, towards our situation. These are the sort of people that sympathise with our problems, that will really welcome us with open arms into the country, because they are capable of understanding that we're not here to spread the virus. We're there to continue our careers, to be part of Japanese society and do lots of wonderful things. There's mutual benefits to both us and Japan in this exchange right here. They are the people that understand that. And trust me, the day you do get through those borders, those are the sort of people you can look forward to meeting when actually in Japan. All the horrible people you find online, all of the governments that are banning us, they won't be a factor in normal daily life. I can assure you that. I mean, right now, Japanese university students, I feel for them. They've got no international students to meet, to exchange languages and cultures with. There's loads of friendships that haven't been made yet. Think of everyone working at Hub. They're probably thinking, where's our revenue gone? No one's coming in. And of course, even the salarymen, the horny salarymen who are frequenting nightclubs and just standing there thinking, I've got no one to grope. I digress, but put it this way, I believe there's a silent majority in Japan right now who do miss their international friends. There is a place for us. Right now, because we're basically living on the internet, there's a tendency for us to be absorbed most by the negative things, the outrageous and the shocking. And in doing so, we kind of neglect all of the good things that are coming out of this. We are getting a lot of support from Japanese people that are really empathising with our situation and voicing their support, and we shouldn't forget that. And I'll tell you this, I honestly, hands on heart, believe that no Japanese person purely hates foreigners. I think they just fear the unknown, which as humans, we all fear. Unfortunately, the measures put in place by the Japanese government have positioned foreigners as the scapegoats right now. However, any decent, normal Japanese person would recognise the hard work and the passion of thousands of students and workers across the world right now and welcome them into Japan with open arms, because those are the sort of people that you want in your country, and they recognise that. So let's not become bitter and twisted by this situation. Let's not rile up any more hate than there already is in the world. And let's keep all of the positive reasons why we chose Japan in the first place firmly rooted in mind. I mean, for me, my reason has and always will be my Japanese friends. They remind me time and time again that Japan really is a nation of truly wonderful people. So let's not let politics get in the way of those reasons. Fingers crossed for good news soon. I'll catch you guys later.
Oh, I've got a very wet bum.